You're 25, scrolling, comparing, another promotion, another destination wedding, another dream apartment reveal. A quiet voice whispers, "You're behind." Truth. You're not behind. You're being distracted. The scoreboard you're staring at rewards markers of success, not the makers of success. While most people polish their image, the people who truly win are pouring concrete, quietly building the invisible foundation no one applauds in their 20s, but everyone envies by 35. The world rewards visibility, life rewards alignment. If you want a decade that compounds, trade the public game for the private one. You don't need a louder life, you need a stronger base. I sat at a reunion where updates were traded like currency. Promotions, engagements, new homes. When it was my turn, I said, I spent the year rebuilding my mental health and clarifying my values. On the train home, I felt like I had nothing to show. Later, I realized I had everything to show. I just couldn't post it. That year, I paid off a debt you'll never see. The invisible tax of living for other people's timelines. Your 20s aren't an extended adolescence, they're a neurological renovation. The prefrontal cortex, the part that governs planning, impulse control, and long horizon thinking, is still under construction. The habits you rehearse now become the grooves your life follows later. Chasing appearances during this phase is like installing marble countertops on a cracked foundation. It dazzles now, collapses later. We confuse markers, titles, aesthetics, applause with makers. Self-mastery, resilience, emotional literacy, deep work. That confusion creates the early achievement paradox. The harder you chase external approval, the more you neglect the internal architecture that would have produced sustainable success anyway. So you take the prestige job that hollows you out. You curate a relationship that photographs well but corrodes your peace. You rent a lifestyle you can't afford to own. The bill always comes due, charging interest on your attention, your time, and your self-respect. Achievement means nothing if it isn't built on alignment. This is the antidote, the quiet operating system for a decade that compounds. Identity formation. Identity isn't discovered fully formed, it's forged. Stop asking, who am I forever? And start asking, what am I curious about now? What am I willing to practice? Curiosity and practice are the two chisels that shape identity without trapping you in a rigid mask. Value excavation. Write 5 top goals. For each, ask why 5 times. Some goals will collapse under the weight of borrowed expectations. What remains is yours. Controlled failure exposure. Go where small failures are cheap. Bomb at an open mic. Submit work before it feels ready. Pitch the idea. You're training your nervous system to separate self-worth from outcome. So later, you can take bigger, truer risks. Relationship inventory. Make 2 calm columns, energy givers and energy takers. Revisit quarterly. Reduce exposure to takers where possible. Reduce access where you can't. Your social diet becomes your default mindset. Provisional identities. Use behavior-anchored labels you can update. I'm a person who writes before work. I'm a person who asks for feedback weekly. Flexible enough to evolve, sturdy enough to steer decisions. C. Capacity building. Capacity is your ability to produce value, manage complexity, and navigate uncertainty anywhere you go. Deep work. Capacity. Attention is the rarest currency. Train it. Start with 30 minutes of distraction-free focus daily. No phone in the room, no tabs, no notifications. Add 15 minutes weekly until 2-3 hours is normal. Deep work is a character practice, learning to sit with cravings, boredom, and the urge to flee. Discomfort. Tolerance. Your ceiling is set by your willingness to remain with emotional friction. Have the honest conversation. Ask for the raise with numbers. Volunteer for the ambiguous project. Courage is built in micro reps. Learning agility. Run 30-day skill sprints. One skill, one clear outcome. Week 1, fundamentals. Week 2, guided reps. Week 3, independent reps. Week 4, ship something public. You're not just adding skills, you're expanding who you are. Transferable power skills, communication, right to think, clarify to persuade. Prioritization, choose the one thing that moves the system. Estimation, rough math beats perfect plans. Feedback, ask, what would make this 10% better? And implement fast. E, energy protection. Energy funds everything. Guard it with systems, not willpower. Attention, hygiene. Unfollow accounts that sell you a life you don't want. Disable non-human notifications. Move social apps off your phone, desktop only. Treat your home screen like a workspace, not a carnival. Recovery rhythm. Don't rest because you're burnt out. Rest so you don't burn out. Baseline, 1 daily renewal. Exercise, prayer, journaling, meditation. 1 midweek reset evening. No screens, deep rest, analog time. 1 weekend day of full disconnection. Decision minimization. Automate the small stuff. Meal templates, capsule wardrobe, recurring grocery lists, default calendar blocks for deep work, admin, relationships, and recovery. Save your decision making for choices that bend your future. Psychological flexibility. The person you're becoming needs different tools than the person you've been. Treat plans as prototypes, useful until they're not. Flexibility beats certainty in changing environments. Relationship depth over breadth. Stop networking, start alley building. Identify 5 to 10 people whose character and path you respect. Invest with intent. Show up, ask real questions, offer specific help. Celebrate their wins. 1 battle-tested ally can alter your trajectory more than 1,000 acquaintances. Process over, outcomes, goals are magnets. Systems are engines. Want the promotion? Build the promotion process. Weekly metrics review, feedback ritual, project postmortems, public artifacts of value. Want strong relationships? Build connection processes, non-urgent check-ins, shared experiences, invitations with context. Fall in love with the repetition that creates the result. Long-term thinking. Extend your time horizon. Ask, what will my 35-year-old self thank me for? Allocate at least 20% of time and money to compounding bets, durable skills, preventative health, assets that produce freedom later. In a world trained on quarters, patience is an edge. A simple financial operating system. Pay yourself first. Automatic transfers into savings investments on payday. 2 spending buckets. Essentials, rent, food, utilities, and lifestyle, wants. When lifestyle hits 0, fun becomes free. Opportunity fund. Even 50-month for courses, tools, conferences, anything that increases capacity. Health as throughput, not aesthetics. Training baseline, 3 strength sessions, plus 2 cardio weekly. Sleep strategy, fixed wake time, phone docks outside the bedroom, last caffeine, 8 to 10 hours before sleep. Food defaults, protein each meal, water on waking, weekday meals on repeat, creativity on weekends, consistency on weekdays, digital identity as leverage. Publish 1 artifact weekly, a short demo, a thread, a tutorial, a case study. Reputation is repeated proof of value. A living portfolio or now page updated monthly. Visibility is optional. Findability is not. Portfolio of experiments. Keep 12-month hypotheses, tested in 30-90-day chunks. Freelance niche, product prototype, cohort mini course. Each experiment has a success metric and a stop date. Ship, learn, iterate, or kill. The portfolio prevents over-identifying with one bet. Mentors and mirrors. Mentors give you context, mirrors give you honesty. One shows you the map, the other shows you yourself. When asking for advice, send a 3-bullet brief. Your goal, constraints, and 1 specific question. Respect time, receive gold. Anti-goals. Write what you refuse to create. No boss who owns my evenings. No income that collapses if I stop posting. No work that punishes honesty. Anti-goals protect you when you're flattered or stressed. Quarterly. Personal review. Every 90 days, scan your calendar and bank statements. The two places your values are visible. Ask, what did I actually prioritize? What will I change? What single system prevents a repeat mistake? Add one constraint, not 3. Constraints are creative fuel. When the shiny offer appears, I'm drawn to how this will look, not how it will feel. Does this serve my long-term direction, or just my short-term ego? When you're tempted to overcommit, my default is yes, my future needs no. If this isn't a clear yes for my top 2 priorities, it's a gracious no. When fear blocks action, what's the smallest version I can ship today? Courage is a series of small proofs. When comparison bites, I don't want their life, I want the feeling I imagine. Peace, options, meaning. Those are built privately. Mornings, 90, 120 minutes deep. Work before inputs. One valuable thing. Midday, 45-minute learning sprint. Lesson, practice, tiny artifact. Afternoons, collaboration and shallow tasks batched. Evenings, movement, plus one meaningful connection touchpoint. Midweek, one screen-free reset evening for restoration and reflection. Weekend, one day off the grid. Boredom window, ideas live there. Weekly review, wins, lessons, stuck points, next actions. Schedule the actions. If it isn't on the calendar, it isn't real. This isn't perfection. It's defaults that protect you from drift. You stop performing and start compounding. Your days feel lighter because your choices are heavier with meaning. Confidence stops coming from a title and starts coming from evidence. You can learn, adapt, and deliver. The room changes when you enter. Not because you're loud, but because you're grounded. People trust those who trust themselves. Temptations lose power. You feel comparison rising and steer back, gently. You say fewer yeses and create better work. You sleep proud of your direction even when the day was imperfect, because you know the game you're playing is long and it's yours. Soft. This is what freedom feels like at first. Quiet, sturdy, unhurried. Pick one pillar, identity, capacity, or energy, and make a one-step upgrade today. Identity. Take a top goal through 5 whys. Adjust it to match your truth. Capacity. Do 30 minutes of distraction-free deep work and ship a rough draft. Energy. Delete one app that fuels comparison and reclaim an hour. Tomorrow, repeat the same step. No announcement, no fresh notebook, no ceremony. Just a quiet promise kept. In a world obsessed with looking successful, become unshakably, quietly capable. The applause may come later, or it may not. Either way, you'll have something rarer. A foundation strong enough to carry the weight of a magnificent life. Start small, start quiet, start now. Your future self is already whispering, thank you.